Hey guys, welcome back to Trendy Gadget. Today we'll talk about why the iPad Pro is so bad. Let's get into it. Number 1. The good. We should examine what Apple got right first. From the earliest starting point, you will see that while this may just be a bigger iPad, it seems like a totally extraordinary gadget altogether, essentially in view of its size. Its screen is very amazing to see, and it's essentially a similar size as the 13-inch MacBooks that are available. That is huge for a tablet. The assembled quality is magnificent, as though we have to try and make a reference to that. It's Apple, all things considered. In any case, it is something you'll appreciate taking a gander at, essentially due to the monster screen that is just wonderful. It's enormous, splendid, high-res, all you require from a tablet screen. The screen truly is the thing that intrigues the most on this tablet. Photographs look essentially astonishing. All things considered, expecting you took respectable ones in the first place. In any case, seeing them in full screen on this Goliath is really something to view. In the event that you appreciate photograph altering, this is undoubtedly the gadget for you. In the engine, it includes the Apple A12Z processor and an entire 6GB of RAM, which is a considerable amount, more when contrasted with the customary iPad and iPad smaller than normal lines. There is all that could possibly be needed, capacity to deal with the endeavor, level application easily. This new iPad will likewise let you effectively perform multiple tasks, yet with no two applications immediately. In any case, for the most part, that is all anyone could need for a run-of-the-mill tablet client. In any event, when attempting to get some genuine work achieved utilizing tablets. I understand that this tablet is really intended for big business work, yet that doesn't mean it can give extraordinary amusement. Envision probably the best portable games played on the bigger screen, and with the intensity of the new processor, every one of your games will play easily, and there won't be any slack between screens. In actuality, I figure Apple could advertise this tablet as a gaming tablet just as one for organizations, as it gives enough capacity to effectively do both. Number 2. The bad. Since I've spouted and spouted over the new iPad Pro, the time has come to discuss a couple of things that I accept are minor, yet Apple got off base. In fact, not these are their deficiency, and some will be fixed with time. However, starting today, they actually exist. To start with, we should discuss the sound. The speakers truly aren't greatly improved on the Pro, contrasted with the smaller than expected on the Air 2, so average, best case scenario. They are still useful for films and phone calls. However, tuning into music on them isn't the best experience you will actually have. That is not completely their issue. Their speakers are possibly going to be so acceptable when they are as little as they seem to be. As good as the display is, it seems that iOS and apps don't know how to make good use of that yet. In many apps, there are huge areas of empty space, or the app appears too large or too small. This because apps haven't matured to include the new resolutions as of yet. But really, there is no excuse for Apple's own apps and iOS itself not to support it. Even in areas of iOS and Apple-made apps, this display weirdness was very apparent. And it's even worse when the third-party app world. These problems result in some apps appearing too small or too large, or even custom spacing issues to show up. I'm sure that much of this will be fixed in time as developers update their apps for the newer screen resolution and sizes. Until then, you will have some weirdness to deal with. Speaking of weirdness, let's talk about the on-screen keyboard. Most apps still use the classic keyboard that comes with the iPad Air 2, instead of the new keyboard on the iPad Pro. This is, of course, another update problem that I'm sure will slowly work itself out. Still, that keyboard looks just plain strange on the iPad Pro, and can be a little awkward to use. The new on-screen keyboard for the Pro, on the other hand, is quite well made, but just not used enough to be really effective. The last some portion of awful is the weight. I don't know whether it is truly downright terrible, something we will all need to manage. The iPad Pro is about similar load as the principal iPad that was ever delivered, but since of its bigger screen, it is considerably harder to hold in one hand while you tap away with the other hand. It is clear this gadget was intended for a work area, or at any rate, your lap. In any case, you can pull off holding it for brief time frames. Simply don't anticipate that things should be excessively agreeable for extremely long. Number 3. The ugly. This will be the shortest of all sections, but there are a couple of issues that I see as huge mistakes on Apple's part. First, the fingerprint reader is gone. It doesn't use the same readers that are found on the iPhone 6s, 7, 8, and SE, which doesn't make sense to me, unless Apple is having supply issues that we don't know about. The equivalent can be said for the cameras remembered on the iPad Pro. The back camera utilizes the more established 12 megapixels camera on the back and the more seasoned 7 megapixels camera on the front, while the iPhone 11 appreciates much more up-to-date and better cameras. While you won't be taking the same number of pictures with this gadget, I actually don't comprehend why they wouldn't improve the forward-looking camera to improve the exhibition of video visits, something I would think will be imperative to entrepreneurs whose representatives are in a hurry. That is probably more or less appalling. In any case, All things considered, the incorporation of more established tech on their most recent gadget is an approach to win simply somewhat more per tablet on those gadgets, or the consequence of gracefully gives that Apple hasn't been happy to import to the remainder of the world. Whatever the explanation, Apple ought to have attempted to bring the more current tech to this gadget also. All things considered, this should be the best iPad they have ever made. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.